Good to go.
And we'll
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will call to order the Lafayette City Council meeting for July 1st, 2025, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Clerk, can we do a roll call, please?
Mayor Monget,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wong,
Hello.
Councilor Barnes,
Good evening.
Councilor Friedland,
Here.
Councilor Gallegos,
Good evening.
Councilor Sampson, and Councilor Tapia Vega.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Do we have a motion to?
I move to excuse Councilor Sampson.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and second to excuse Councilor Sampson from tonight's meeting. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed. That passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we'll begin tonight's meeting with public input. This is an opportunity for members of the public to speak for 5 minutes on whichever topic they may choose to do so. If you wish to speak during this time, please grab one of these white speaker forms that you can access through the glass doors in the back. Pass it over to the clerk Beck and we can get you on the list. You may also call in as well. Before you speak, please state your name and address. Tonight we'll begin with Andy Valenzuela.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'm here to discuss the plaque by the QR code for the names of the 200 people that are in Parsville. Everyone deserves recognition and closure in life if at all possible. For those who voted in favor of the plaque names, thank you very much. And for those who did not, imagine your name, your work, your mark on earth was non-existent. How would being forgotten show honor for your hard work and efforts in life? As a Marine, retired at 28 years, a former commander of VFW Post 1771 here in Lafayette, we have recognized all who have served in our country from Lafayette and with the current memorial site in the Lafayette Cemetery. Likewise, how is it not important to respectfully recognize the 200 individuals who also served the same town and country, but in a different way? Whoever they were, a brother, a sister, a coal miner, a farm worker, they deserve honor and closure for all their efforts as well. Lafayette is better than this. We cannot leave loved ones forgotten forever. As a taxpayer for over 50 years, longer than some of you have been alive, I have been here and now give you my permission and full support and go with this scintillation of plaque and written names. And also to add additional space for persons to be added if needed. Clearly, these 200 individuals have been silenced and invisible. We must be their voice and the community to bring their names forward. QR codes are a commercial tool and will be obsolete and replaced. A QR code is simply another way of keeping lost souls out of sight and out of mind. Anyone who knows of the 200 individuals are most likely elderly and may not even be familiar with QR codes and understand what they mean. I'd like to pass this around if I could. This was a gift from Marines that I worked with while I was served for 28 years. Each one of those signatures are a signature from someone who passed or has lived on as an Iwo Jima survivor, whether it was Navy, Marine Corps, To me, that's important. Those are names that will never be forgotten. And they'll be in history forever. They have plaques everywhere nationally for names who have been there. This is a personal introduction to me, from fellow Marines that thought highly of me. This is something that will always be an honor and a great part of my soul. As you see this, a proper plaque with names of our lost 200 souls could equally show the appreciation and reverence that they deserve. I just want you to think of that, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Frank Archuleta.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members and council lady here. I gave you all a copy, basically, of what I'm going to do a presentation here this evening. I would highly recommend you take it home and study it and read it, because it contains a lot of value. Council and staff, this is a critical time to acknowledge history, the historical history in the Lafayette Cemetery. Lafayette City Council members and staff, let us not forget that when you became a city council member, you did take an oath to serve as a public servant to the citizens of Lafayette. Why ethnical leadership is so important. How do you do what is right instead of what is politically expedient? You must maintain the loyalty of your oath, the dedication, the values of building an inclusive community. You must hold up justice, fairness, and a lasting commitment to the truth, and why 200 people were buried and not recorded by the town and city of Lafayette. So, if there was a time when the examination of ethical leadership would be useful, it is now. Ethical leaders do not run from criticism, and they do not hide from uncomfortable requests and suggestions by the citizens of Lafayette to have a plaque with all the names on it that we have found who are not in the city database to be put up at the Lafayette Cemetery. You voted to place a QR code near plaque language. People don't understand QR codes. The families that would go up there, they would just totally go a different direction. And besides that, the museum might not even be here in time. But not only do the citizens want a plaque with all their names on it, so does the Lafayette Human Rights Commission, your Lafayette Cultural Art Board, the Historical Museum Board of Directors support a list with the 200 names on the plaque at the Lafayette Cemetery. These are your advisory boards, and you are not listening to them for some reason. I would like to know why. Council, it is time to show and to prove your loyalty, your dedication to the citizens, and to your city board members of Lafayette. There is no reason why the city and the citizens and the city boards can't have both. After all, Tom Razzle is willing to pay for a plaque with all the names on it. That plaque will not cost the city any money at all. Recognizing the history and the inequities faced by these individuals is a necessary step forward in acknowledging our past. By confronting these difficult truths, we can foster greater understanding and ensure we do better in the future. The creation of a public plaque with all their names on it will honor those buried in unmarked graves. After all, that is what cemetery memorials are all about. What truly matters is great leadership by City Council and the vital importance of shaping a culture that puts trust first and honors the 200 now known with a plaque with their names on it. This is very important. Council, the supreme quality for leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, there is no success is possible. We must have the fundamental commitment to the values of the truth, integrity, and respect, and the opportunity to truly build a healthy community, an inclusive community, and an inclusive environment. Doug has verified the names from the newspapers and the Catholic Church. The city does have a process for fact-checking names. The Lafayette Library, Rachel Hansen, the Collective Arts Center. Also, do not forget your resolution number 2016-96, committing to build a diverse, inclusive community and just community, ensuring equal protection and the services for all residents. Well, basically, you're not serving the residents by, basically, I'll call it whitewashing, I'll call it covering up all over again. For 124 years, these names were not recorded. We found these names. Doug Conroe is an expert at doing this. He's an ex-newspaper man. Take his word for it. Let the library fact check. Let Rachel Hansen fact check. These names are the names of the people that are buried in that cemetery. There is no reason at all that we cannot have a plaque put up with all their names on it. After all, when citizens go up there, they're not going to be doing no QR code. I guarantee that. They're going to want to see something visual. They want to see something that is right in front of them, and that they can honor, to respect, and to understand why what happened and where are their loved ones at. They're right here in that cemetery. They are there. The way you voted on that 4-3 was not right, was not just. You should realize the impact that has caused the community. There's an uproar in this community right now, council members. I'll let you know that right now. And we will, I say, get a plaque put up at that cemetery. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mary Abila.
My name is Mary Abila. My maiden name is DeFoya. I was born in Lafayette on Geneseo Street. I have lived here all my life, never having resided in any other city, as is the case of many other my family members. All of my immediate family and many other loved ones are buried in the Lafayette Cemetery. Olivia Tafoya, one of my family ancestors, deceased decades ago, is among the 200 plus buried in the Lafayette Cemetery, excuse me, where no markers were placed. These 200 burials have been verified by church records, archdiocese records, and maybe more importantly by library records, including local newspapers, being historical records of everyday events in Lafayette, including births and deaths. Some of you may remember, as I do, how the Lafayette Leader published when many of its residents went on vacation. Simply, we are asking for our 200 plus loved ones to be honored by having their names engraved on a plaque, acknowledging that their final resting place is here in the Lafayette Cemetery. Any person who has lived and died deserves this very minimal gesture of love and recognition. I understand the City Council is considering placing a QR code in the cemetery to be scanned by whoever is searching, then directed to the library or to the museum for confirmation that their family member has in fact been buried here. I have family members from California and Ohio who, when they come to Lafayette, ask to do the cemetery tour. They take pictures of gravestones and of the structure bearing names of relatives remembered on the structure honoring World War veterans. And I believe that most of these visitors, maybe your family or mine, would at this point give up in exasperation. Respectfully, my opinion is that the QR idea is at best, unreasonable. In years to come, 10, 20, or how many, what will have replaced the QR code? Will the museum even exist? And so on. Also, even today, some of us do not even function in the QR world. Why has this issue become a debate? Would there be such strong objection if Olivia was your own cherished loved one, or any one of the 200? Would City Council possibly deny this humble request to provide a tangible remembrance for those who have died and been laid to rest without the recognition of even a name? Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Louis Abila.
Good evening. My name is Lou Avila. I'm Mary's husband. I am not a native Lafayette citizen. I've been here about 60 years, and I support the plaque idea for all the people that have died. I've had friends that come over here, and I've had relatives that come and they said, well, where's this guy buried at? Where's that one buried at? That's, it's over there someplace. And I don't see what the criteria is to deny a plaque that is not going to cost you anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is Phyllis Rodriguez.
Hello, council members. My name is Phyllis Rodriguez. I lived here most of my life. I'm totally supporting the plaque. Like I said before when I was here last time, I have two little cousins that were buried. They say in Pottersville. I didn't even know what Pottersville was. I was 13 years old when my little cousins were buried there. They have no recognition of my little cousins buried at all. How do you think that made me feel when I found that out? Frank and Doug, I think his name is, researched all this. When I found this out, I could not believe it. I was there when my cousins got buried, and the city has no recollection of them at all. So I really do believe that everybody that's buried there, that the city has had no recognition of them being filed, need to be with the plaque that says that's their headstone. All these people that were buried here, they need to be known. People, the family members, respectfully, you need to respect the family members and the people that paid for their lives and are buried there. They were born, they died, they're buried here. They have the right to have a plaque. They have a right to have their names on there. I totally support this plaque. And that other thing about QRVI code or whatever it is, I'm 86 years old. There's other people that don't even know what that is. And they're not gonna go to the cemetery and, well, let's do this, let's see. They could care less. It's people, family members, that have known what this is all about. It's out now, what's happened here. People can't believe that this was ever filed. How do we know people aren't buried over other people there, where my family member was buried? They had no recognition of this. What happened? Well, because this was back in the days, these people need to be recognized by a plaque. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next we have Pete Salas.
Good evening. My name is Pete Salas. I live at 1710 Zeus Drive in Lafayette. I came for a couple of reasons. One is to talk about this plaque. And, you know, I don't understand. It's really hard, and I'm sure it's hard for some other community members to understand. Someone has offered to pay for a plaque to put up. That's one thing, and I think it should be done. And as the people who spoke before me are more articulate than I am in this regard, and I think it's been well said. Aside from that, I'm personally offended by the notion that, you know, if I'm a spiritual person and I go to a graveyard to see people memorialized. I was just in one. I just came from visiting some family in Nebraska, and we showed a picture of my grandfather's headstone, and the story behind it was that my father and his family, they went to the graveyard, and there was no headstone there. They knew he was buried there, but there was no marker. My father took it upon himself to buy a marker for him, and you know, he could have done it otherwise. But I think it's personally, spiritually offensive to feel like to have a QR code somewhere. That to me is offensive from a spiritual perspective and disrespectful for the people who perished and are buried there. So I'm encouraging you to reconsider and to put up a proper memorial to recognize the people are there and not put up a techno solution to this, which I find insulting from a personal, spiritual perspective. I'm not a very religious person, but I'm a spiritual person, and my people are indigenous to this land, just as some of these folks are, and I find it, as an indigenous person, disrespectful, and I urge you to reconsider that. I also wanted to talk just briefly, I saw another article about flock cameras and their use in communities, and I saw the website where you talk about that information's not going to be shared and everything. And then there's a list of about 100, 200 communities that receive this data, and I'm not sure what agreements you have with all those communities when you share this data, and I'm very concerned about data breaches and how that information is being used. So ask you to go over that again and offer again some reassurances that flock data is not being abused. I saw some organizations on that list that I don't think we should be sharing data with, because I think they have been in violation of people's civil rights as it relates to the immigration community, and I would suggest that you look at those again. Lastly, I'm going to comment on the proposed ballot initiatives, just to say that I'm retired on a fixed income, and I feel like we're being nickeled and dimed to death in terms of taxes. I agree that I'm not opposed to the proposals that are being presented for the use. However, I think you need to think about those of us, I can't absorb anymore property taxes. It's $1 here and $1 there, and it's not working out for me, and I'm one of those people who in the near future may consider moving simply because my property taxes are outpacing my ability. I don't get a bonus every year, and so I don't have additional income. I'm fixed, and this is bleeding me and others like me in this community. I can't even use some facilities here. I can't go play golf here because I can't afford it, and I'm not alone. So so those are things that I wanted to bring up. Again, primary purposes, I would like you to be more respectful and consider the consequences, the spiritual consequences of not recognizing those souls that we have buried in our cemetery, and get rid of this techno god creation that you're proposing, instead of having a proper memorial for the individuals that are. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ron Spalding.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Ron Spalding, 1326 Colorado Way, Lafayette. I think I heard, this is not my suggestion or recommendation, but I think it came up at a June City Council meeting, and I was just thinking about it further. And I was thinking, could or would the City Council consider implementing a temporary moratorium on the 3 annexation requests, the Range, Gateway Lafayette, and Indian Peaks 19, in order to determine if the city has the infrastructure capacity for the water, sewer, utilities, road capacity, et cetera, and the financial capacity, considering the bond issue for 3 capital improvements projects that you're looking at now, to support these development proposals. The Range, I'm speaking to the choir, the Range is 39 acres, same 453 units. Gateway Lafayette, 78 acres. They didn't say how many units, but it's twice as big as the Range in Lafayette, so let's give them 453. Indian Peaks, small. Boulder Builders, just 63 units. But that's 969 units, maybe coming up. And I don't know if it's feasible, but the city in the past has approved temporary moratoriums for different purposes. In 2013, we had a 4-month moratorium on residential building permits when we were looking at the 2,000 per year or whatever. 2017, we had a moratorium on Old Town building permits. They were temporary. In 2017, we had our oil and gas moratoriums, which were extended. I personally think it would be beneficial for the city administration, staff, and elected officials to have a timeout to slow down and carefully analyze the important issues with these annexations and ballot bond question before you. I mean, I don't even know if this suggestion is even legally advisable or available, or if you thought about it. It's not to say stop, but, we look at these annexations individually. We got the comp plan, but we're looking at, finalizing our code, and I'm just wondering if it's a possibility if we could do that and take a, holistic approach. And then, I wasn't going to speak, but I want to give kudos to Mr. Andy, our 20-year veteran Marine jarhead, saying that lovingly, with the VFW post 1771. I agree with what he said about recognizing veterans. I'm a veteran myself, Vietnam, conflict. And it's made me think. First, I want to thank you for the flags that are out now for 4th of July. And, this may not be feasible, but I was thinking, I have a suggestion to make regarding the display of the American flag in Lafayette. Would it be possible to put the flag up along public road and leave it up from mid-May to mid-July, 2.5 months? Because there are 5 important dates during this time period. Beginning in May, we have 2 dates. Armed Forces Day on the 3rd Saturday in May. Follow that with Memorial Day, which is the last Monday in May. Then in June, we have 2 important days. Flag Day, June 14th, and then Juneteenth, June 19th. Then we move into Independence Day, July 4th. There are no major, quote, historical days in August. Then we come up with Labor Day, first Monday of September. I know we put them up, take it down, but, I'm an old geezer, very patriotic. And I think this continuous display of the American flag would show Lafayette's patriotism and support for these historically significant events in the nation's history. I don't know if it's feasible or not. But one thing I want to point out, just, get it off my chest. I was riding my motorcycle to go on my day trips, check out all the developments, see what's going on Flag Day. Lafayette, Louisville, and Erie didn't have any flags flying. The only thing we had in Lafayette was right on the corner of, where our little park's going to be. I don't know who has that statue there, if that's a city or personal, but my hands off, my love to them for having those flags up and they're still there. And this completely baffled me and made me question today's knowledge of America's history and significance of important events. But I wholeheartedly agree with the gentleman here. I like to see us do more for the veterans, not just military, police, fire. My suggestion. Thank you for listening.
Of course, thank you. All right, I'm not seeing any more speaker forms in front of me at this moment. Are there any members in person that wish to speak at this time? Okay, I'll turn to our online callers. Looks like we have 2. So when I call your number, you will be unmuted by our staff here, and then you will be given 5 minutes to speak on any topic that you would like to. If you do not wish to speak, just please let us know, and we'll go on to the next caller. We'll begin with caller with the phone number ending in 146. So caller with the phone number ending in 146. Talking is now permitted, and you may speak when you are ready. Go ahead, caller with the phone number ending in 146. You may speak now. Yeah, I see your hand is raised. So if you could just speak into the microphone or into your phone now, we should be able to hear you. Okay, so unfortunately, caller 146, we're not able to hear you at this moment. We'll try back again in a minute. Let's go to caller with the phone number ending in 424. Caller with the phone number ending in 424. Talking is now permitted, and you may speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, David Samano again, grandson of Salvador Samano, who was a coal miner, union representative that passed away approximately 100 years ago. And, of course, we did find his body, thanks to Frank Archuleta, or his gravesite, and it is marked now. It was desecrated for about 100 years and walked on and had water lines put on top of it and everything else. And the same thing is still continuously going on. But what I'd like to say is, if a body is buried in a cemetery, it has the right to be memorialized in that cemetery. Anything different is a crime against humanity. Let's choose hard or difficult right over easy wrong. What is the correct path? Are we now no better than what happened 100 years ago? Would it be different if you learned that a famous town founder was discovered to have been buried in Lafayette Cemetery? Famous in your own prejudiced ways? I do not understand the motivations of the council or its methods. What is the purpose of a graveyard? What makes a historian so important without the evidence? For 100 years, Lafayette Council has said numerous times, let's fix this problem, and Frank can testify to that. Many times the council said they were going to fix this problem and have failed to fix it. We have the tools, the knowledge, and the evidence. Let's seek the information of the experts, possibly from a committee. Let's be methodical and logical. What is the criteria for having a burial recognized in the cemetery? We must prioritize. Okay, a living relative of the deceased, or a living witness like the Tafoya family and other families and our families that could vouch that there is definitely somebody buried in that cemetery that belongs to their family. A newspaper article stating name and place of burial. Doug Conroe is the expert to verify how authentic the article is. Church records. I guess the church records are more accurate in the city of Lafayette for that period of time. They're very accurate and should be followed. Funeral records. There are funeral records. I have produced one. There's probably more in the Lafayette records or the Boulder records, and some people, please step forward if you have funeral records or old maps of the cemetery, and there are old maps of the cemetery. Create a committee, have a logical discussion. What are the prerequisites? 1 out of 5 of those? 2 out of 5? Verify, add names, and research. That's what we must do, not just come to conclusions. Then create a memorial. A plaque is a memorial. I've heard several people mention memorial today, and I like to call it a memorial because that's what it is. The plaque is a memorial. It's in the memory of people. Personally, a plaque with a QR code is a bunch of crap. Talk about prejudice. How many of the elderly can use that? It's a memorial. It's a cemetery, not a park. And the city still calls it a park on their website. The city told me that ground penetrating radar would not work in the cemetery. Maybe it's time to find out and discover the truth. Things have changed. It's 2025. The radar is very excellent. So I've discussed radar before. The city told me it wouldn't work. Well, it's 2025. I think if we get ground penetrating radar, which is very accurate these days, we're all going to be shocked what really lies in that cemetery. I would like to give you some help. Some plots contain 2 to 4 bodies. The plots were divided in order to bury children or babies. So sometimes the headstones are not in a line with other headstones where a single person was buried. So that throws you off to exactly what the line of the headstones are. There is also a mass grave in the cemetery. Frank Archuleta can, it's on the map that I presented. Frank Archuleta can show you where it's at. There's a mass grave in your cemetery, and I think that's very important knowledge. If anybody's information, if they have old maps, if they have any information that is written, please get Frank Archuleta. Thank you very much for your time. Again, I do not think that the QR code is the way to go. I think that a committee should be formed, and that committee should be logical and methodical and go and prioritize. Do we have a witness? Do we have a newspaper article? Do we have a church article? Then how can you deny it? What does the city have on record for some of those places? Probably not that much information. I think Frank has more information on some of these burials than the city has on some of the burials of the people that have been buried there. So who is in the right? Who is in the wrong? Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we're going to try one more time to go back to a caller with the number ending in 146. Let's try that one more time. Caller with the phone number ending in 146. We're going to go ahead and unmute you now, and you may speak when you're ready. All right, so unfortunately, caller, we are not able to hear you, but we definitely want to hear from you. So if you do have a moment, feel free to send the council an email or give us a call tomorrow or as soon as you can, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on whatever you want to speak about. And unfortunately, we can't hear you at this moment, but we definitely want to hear from you soon. All right, I'm not seeing any more speakers in person or online, so with that, we will close public input and move forward with the consent agenda. We only have two short items tonight. That includes item A, June 17th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes, and item B, June 24th, 2025 City Council workshop summary. Would council like to pull any item? If not, we'll take a motion, please.
I move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve that consent agenda. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? None opposed. That passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to make a quick change in the agenda here, if it's okay with council, and move proclamations ahead of presentations, just because we have some folks here in the audience that are here for those proclamations, and the presentations may take a lot longer for discussion and debate. And so, are there any objections to moving that up? No. Okay, great. Let's move to proclamations then for tonight. We have two proclamations. We will begin first with item F. This is the proclamation for Day of Compassion for the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday for July 6, 2025. And I believe Councilor Gallegos will read this one in.
Whereas the title Dalai Lama means ocean of wisdom and is given to the foremost spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism. And whereas there have been 14 Dalai Lamas, with the first being recognized beginning in the year 1391. And whereas His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, was born in northeastern Tibet in 1935, enthroned as the 14th incarnation in 1940, and called upon to assume temporal leadership of Tibet in 1950 in response to a tumultuous time as the newly established People's Republic of China sent its military to seize control of Tibet. And whereas for more than 7 decades, His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, has significantly advanced greater understanding, tolerance, harmony, and respect among the religious faiths of the world. And whereas July 6th, 2025, marks the 90th birthday of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. And whereas the United States has indicated bipartisan support for a resolution commemorating this birthday as a day of compassion and expressing support for the human rights and distinct religious, cultural, linguistic, and historical identity of the Tibetan people. Now therefore, the mayor and the city council of the city of Lafayette, Colorado, do hereby declare July 6, 2025, the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday as a day of compassion and encourage all residents to promote understanding, tolerance, harmony, and respect in the community. So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'd like to see if there's any members of council first that have any comments or discussions regarding this. Councilor Barnes.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to recognize the Tibetan Souvenirs Tibetan Souvenirs in Lafayette. I've been in there many times, and it's just the energy, the feeling in that part of Lafayette, right down there, Festival Plaza, is something that I think helps make Lafayette what it is. We've purchased many items from there, and our family really loves going in there. So if you haven't ever connected with Tibet in any way, I highly recommend going to Tibetan Souvenir. I love the singing bowls that are there and everything else. So yeah, just want to recognize we have a small piece, but it's very rich. So just
Agree.
want to mention that.
Thank you. Other comments? Okay. Before we vote, it looks like we do have some members of the Tibetan Association here. So I'd like to, if you'd like to come up to the podium and speak a little bit about this proclamation. So if you could come up now, that'd be great. Thank you.
Good evening. Councillor, you mentioned the Tibet souvenir. Tulip, he's our board member and he's the owner of the shop. So my name is Tashi. Good evening to the respected councilman, and the mayor. I'm here on behalf of the Tibetan Association of Colorado, a growing community here of about maybe close to 600, 700 members, and many residing in Lafayette. So today I'm here to discuss and thank you all for adding the proclamation of July 6th as a day of compassion. So currently at the U.S. Capitol, a new bipartisan resolution introduced in the Senate and the House congratulates the Dalai Lama on his upcoming 98th birthday and recognizes his outstanding contributions to peace, nonviolence, human rights, and mutual respect within and across faith. And this is led by Senators Jeff Markley, Todd Young, and Representatives Mike McCall and Jim McGovern. Despite having faced persecution, oppression, and unspeakable violence in the hands of the CCP, His Holiness the Dalai Lama has maintained inner peace and continues to preach compassion, inspiring not only his people, but the entire world. The Dalai Lama is an inspiration to the millions of people around the world. His teachings on religious tolerance, non-violent responses to conflict, and violent extremism, and peace building are both timeless and urgently needed in our present circumstances. And previously, the Dalai Lama has been recognized by numerous congressional resolutions and awards, including the United States Congressional Gold Medal and the Nobel Peace Prize. And to conclude, I would like to again thank the City of Lafayette, the Council, and the Mayor for giving us this opportunity and for the proclamation that you have added to consider July 6th as a day of compassion. Thank you very much.
Yes, of course. Thank you for being here.
Am I allowed to offer something?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
This is a booked His Holiness the Dalai Lama on this struggle.
Okay. Wow, thank you so much. And what do we have here?
That's
This is the year of the compassion for Dalai Lama speech.
Thank you.
Dalai Lama pictures.
Wow.
This is Tibetan national flag. Tibetan national flag. Actually, if we hang out at the Tibet, the Chinese will kill all families.
Hey,
We cannot hang out with my country.
all right, sir, thank you.
Please.
We'll take it. Thank you so much.
Please, if you can,
Of course, of course.
If you can, please hang out. The March 10 is 1959, we lost our country. We hang out at the, only one day, hang out
Yes,
with our.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Would you like 10 minutes, or should I offer this invitation you guys at the moment? Is this okay timing?
Sorry, what was it?
This is a Tibetan scarf.
Oh, yes, now very familiar.
This is
Yes, is this something you want to offer to me?
Yes, to each one.
Oh, to each counselor. Okay. Looks like we got some gifts guys coming in. So just be ready. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Hopefully I'm not taking too much time.
No, you're okay. Fine. No problem. Thank you.
So this is a ceremonial scarf used for all special occasions.
Thank you, beautiful.
You know what, let's just go ahead and do that. I think it might be easier if council came forward and we did a quick photo, and then with the proclamation, and then we stopped to vote. So we're gonna do that first, and then we'll come down and we'll take a photo with you. Of course. I think you got something for these guys too? Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. This is awesome. All right, so let's quickly vote, and then we'll do a quick photo with our friends here before we move on to the next proclamation. Okay, so we have a motion and a second on that. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? None opposed. That passes unanimously. I'll have my phone here. We'll take a quick photo and then get to the next proclamation. But if you guys want to come on up, we can do that. Do you mind grabbing that proclamation? Thank you.
No, it's, oh, yes. JD sign it. JD do it afterwards.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Yes. Okay.
They might have to do 2 rows, guys. I can't get everybody in.
Okay. So we get like some taller folks in the back, or yeah, you want to tell me?
Perfect.
Where's the front?
There we go. Yep, that's great.
Okay. Can you see us all?
Yes.
All right.
All right, big smiles. Beautiful.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the gifts. And we're going to give you a signed copy of this. It would be, thank you, in the next couple days. Okay, so I can sign it, and then I'll send it. Bye. Yes, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. Yes, I'll yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you all so much. We do have another proclamation that we'd like to celebrate today. This is for Plastic Free July, for July 2025. Councilor Freed.
Thank you. I don't think we have gifts for this one. I don't know. I'm checking with staff. Actually, the gift for this one is you don't have to bring anything. You can bring a reusable mug if you wanted, or reduce plastic waste. But I'm really pleased to bring this one forward, recognizing Plastic Free July, a global movement that encourages simple daily actions like bringing a reusable bag or a coffee cup to reduce plastic waste. It's a chance for all of us to reflect on the prevalence of plastic in our lives, make small changes, and learn about plastic's impact on our planet, on our local environment, and specifically on our Colorado waterways. This initiative supports our climate action plan and our efforts to reduce single-use plastics. This proclamation affirms the city's dedication to waste reduction and public education. Here's a proclamation, Plastic Free July, July 2025. Whereas the City of Lafayette is committed to environmental leadership and in August 2024 adopted a climate action plan that emphasizes circular economy principles, including reducing single-use plastics. And whereas the city has set goals to conserve resources, reduce waste and greenhouse gas emissions, and protect the health and well-being of both residents and wildlife, efforts that directly strengthen our community's resilience and quality of life. And whereas plastic pollution harms our open space, waterways, trails, while posing human health risks at all stages of plastic manufacturing, from production and use to disposal. And whereas scientists estimate that by 2050, the amount of plastic in the oceans will outweigh all the fish and plastic waste from Lafayette or Colorado can contribute to ocean pollution. And whereas plastic pollution is a public health concern, with microplastics found in water, snow in the Rocky Mountains, human bodies, and soil. And whereas Plastic Free July is a global movement that inspires millions of people to reduce single-use plastics at home, school, and work by providing practical ideas and resources, and whereas individual actions, no matter how small, can add up to meaningful change for a healthier, more sustainable community. And whereas the City of Lafayette proudly supports the work of the Sustainability Division and the Sustainability and Resilience Advisory Board. Now, therefore, the Mayor and City Council of the City of Lafayette, Colorado, do hereby declare July 2025 to be Plastic Free July and encourage all residents to join in reducing single-use plastic waste in our community. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second on that proclamation. Any comments from council? Councilor Gallegos.
So I am someone who is guilty of using single-use plastics. I always have a case of disposable water bottles in my car. I'm sorry about that. But knowing this proclamation was coming today, I remembered to bring my glass mason jar.
Amazing.
If I may, just add to that, this is possible to reduce the amount of plastics in our community. And as we probably know, microplastics are everywhere, in the air, they're in our bloodstream, in our brains. Not everybody's, but it's a problem. but I can speak. One of the groups I work with, it's the Center for Ocean Leadership, and one of the things they're working on is ways to remove these microplastics through different technologies. There's maybe we can electrify them. So there are ways to combat, or should I say overcome, this issue. It's bad, but it's not impossible. And young people are thinking of ways to deal with plastic. And I know that, I'm pretty sure that at Art Night Out, we use cups that are not single-use. I think they're plastic, but they're not single-use, but they are helping minimize Lafayette's contribution to that. So, and I don't know when, but at some point we switched to multiple-use cups here right on council. So there are ways, lots of things you can take into actions. But please, for this month, do your best to reduce your relationship. I guess it's a little strong. Reduce your use of plastics, because I think every little piece helps. So, okay, I'm done.
Thank you. Others? Okay. All right, if there aren't any more comments, there has been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? None opposed. That passes unanimously. Thank you. Right. Thank you all. That concludes the proclamations for tonight. We will now move forward with presentations. First of all, we have item C. This is recognition of the Civics Bee winner, Cameron Parker, who is joining us this evening. To give a little bit of background, Civics Bee is a very intense competition. Middle schoolers from around the state, from around the country, compete. They take a lot of time out of their busy schedules, and they study the history of the United States, our government, how it works, and how everything works in hand. These students also develop or write an essay addressing a certain issue that they're passionate about in their communities. And then they compete against head-to-head, take multiple choice tests, and then give passionate speeches about their issues, and then a winner is decided. And so we're very lucky here in the city of Lafayette that this year's winner for the 2025 State of Colorado State of Colorado Civics Bee winner is Cameron Parker, who is a resident here in the city of Lafayette. So yes, sure, let's give a round of applause to Cameron. Thank you so much. And so, Cameron, thank you for coming up. We'd love for you to share some words about your competition, your background, and the things you're passionate about.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the council. The Civics Bee is a competition. You answer questions and talk about a topic that you saw that was a problem in your community and how you're going to try to solve it. Now, I'm very glad that I got to represent Lafayette in this competition and win and represent it again at nationals. But something that I've found along the journey that I'm very passionate about is my project about wildfires and how to keep people safe during wildfires. So in the Colorado Marshall fires, tens of thousands of people were evacuated, and yet people like my dad right there didn't get the evacuation alerts. My dad got the alerts of the fires through a call, and I think that's it's so sad that we had to rely on various means like social media or news platforms or calls to get that information out. And so I identified that problem, and I want to create an app that will give people, if installed, will give people the evacuation alerts, connecting people's phones to emergency services. And I'm glad that I can continue doing that. And I want to work with members on the council and other people at Verizon or T-Mobile to make that a reality. Thank you.
Awesome. And so now, Cameron, you're headed to Washington, D.C. or for the Nationals, or is that where it's located?
Yes, Washington, D.C.
Thanks.
Oh, and I do want to give a big thanks to Ryan Conrad, my history teacher, who encouraged me to do this project. I would not be here if it wasn't for him.
Of course. Yeah, thank you so much. Does council have any questions or comments for Cameron or about the competition?
I hope you will consider submitting an application to our Lafayette Youth Advisory Board. You're very passionate about the community. You have a project that seems extremely interesting and engaging. So please do consider that.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Councilman.
Yes, Cameron, I have a question for you. Are you planning on going to high school?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Just answer that. You know, your parents are sitting here, so of course the answer is yes. You're on the right track. Do you know there are speech and debate teams in high school level?
Yes, I do think that, I'm going to Centaurus, so I do think they have a debate team.
Do you think you might get interested or be involved?
I could definitely try. I haven't really considered that because I've been focused on other extracurriculars. But I think, like public speaking, it does make me a little bit nervous. But debate would be a great opportunity to do more stuff like this.
Okay, so just to be clear, it makes everybody nervous. It's the most anxiety-producing thing in the world. Like, nobody likes to public speak. Just going to throw that out there. And there are multiple things that you can get involved in. Find one that you like. I think the world needs you in extemporaneous speaking, in policy debate, in value debate. We need you to continue to do what you're doing. Oratories, you already have what you need to really help your peers. So I really think you should consider the speech and debate team, at least take a look at it. And if you can manage to fit it in, I would appreciate it. No pressure, but I think it's a great opportunity for you. And it's also at the college level, so.
Thank you.
Well done.
So now, have you gone to the competition yet, or are you going to?
I am going to go to the competition in November.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. As somebody who loved government civics classes in high school, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm very jealous that you're going, so how exciting that is. And I do remember so many of the lessons that your teachers teach you. I know I remember my government teacher, Reed McCracken, who taught me so much about government, and it was a great experience. So good luck to you. Wish you all the best and can't wait for you to come back and tell us you are the national champion in November. So thank you so much for all you do, and thank you for doing this and representing Lafayette in Colorado. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, I did want to. We do have a certificate that we do want to present to you, and we'll do a quick photo. Before we get to that, I just want to quickly mention the Civics Bee here in Colorado has many sponsors. Of course, the Chamber of Commerce, but also the Daniels Fund. And the Daniels Fund is an amazing organization that provides scholarships and grants to residents all across 4 states. When I was younger, my family, we couldn't afford a lot of things, including paying for my schooling and going to college. And it was through my community work here in the city of Lafayette that eventually I was fortunate enough to receive the Daniels Fund Scholarship, which paid for all of my schooling, and now I was able to graduate debt-free. This is a scholarship that's based on the fundamental pillars of character, leadership, and service. And I think that that's something, as you get a little bit older, I know you're just going into high school, but as a junior, I highly encourage you to apply for the Daniels Fund Scholarship. It is a long application with lots of essays, but believe me, it's totally worth it. And I think you can go very far with this. And so to congratulate you on your awesome achievement, the City of Lafayette would like to present you with this certificate. The City Council would love to do a quick photo with you and wish you the best of luck at Nationals.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah. Lots of photos.
I gotta do it too. No, it's him. That's all him. Right, big smiles. Oh, that's okay. I got it. Thank you. Awesome. Did you say anyone else? Oh no, I got it. You got it. Okay, can I actually have you I'm gonna do a quick video. Will you guys just wave at me? Yes. Social media. Okay, ready? No. Yay. Awesome, thanks guys. Congrats, Cameron.
Yes. Hey, reach out to us if you need help with your competition in a couple months. Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks for being here.
As you know,
Reach out to me.
run for council. I know. You could be younger than JD.
Okay, thank you all for hanging out with us during those photos today, and congratulations to everyone. We do have a couple other items on tonight's agenda, something to get equally excited about. We have our sustainability update with our department here.
Good evening, Council. Again, my name's Elizabeth. I'm the Sustainability Director.
And I'm Lisa, and I'm the Sustainability Specialist.
So we will be providing an update to the Sustainability Department. We've been very busy over the last few years. So an overview of tonight's presentation will start off with some historical information about our department, go into some 2024 highlights, followed up with year-to-date accomplishments and what's to come for the remainder of the year.
All right, starting with the Sustainability Department purpose statement. This was created out of our new climate action plan. But the purpose is to create a sustainable, healthy, equitable, and resilient community where all people and the natural environment thrive while adapting to climate change. And you'll see some icons below the purpose statement. These are all focus areas within our climate action plan, which we'll talk a little bit more later. Timeline for the Sustainability Department. 2019 was when the first sustainability staff was hired. The first sustainability plan was adopted in 2021. And in 2023, the first sustainability plan report came out. In 2024, the City of Lafayette added additional staff to the Sustainability Department. That was myself. And then we adopted the Climate Action Plan. And now we're in 2025 for the implementation phase of our Climate Action Plan.
So I won't be going through all of the highlights for 2024. If you're interested in knowing more accomplishments, you can look on our webpage. We do have an annual report listed on there, but I will be touching on a few. The first is the Climate Action Plan adoption that happened in August of last year. There's 7 different sections, so that's energy, water, circular economy, transportation, community resilience, natural environment, and air quality. There's over 60 goals identified within this plan, and this plan was created in development with internal departments as well as a lot of community feedback, as well as partner organizations. We also have the Universal Recycling Ordinance that came into effect January 1st of this year, specifically with businesses. We have some recycling incentives to help businesses recycle more. So we have financial support, which covers 6 to 9 months worth of recycling service. We also offer internal containers to make recycling as easy as possible. For the remainder of the year, we're going to be switching our focus to apartments. They will be coming online January 1st of 2026. I also want to commend the Sustainability and Resilience Advisory Board for their support in the development of the Universal Recycling Ordinance as well as the Climate Action Plan. Next, we have electric vehicle infrastructure. Last year, we passed our internal EV action plan. We have 15 EVs within our fleet. One issue that we were trying to overcome was the infrastructure and making sure we have enough charging infrastructure to charge our fleet. So you may remember I was here earlier this year and to share with Council the Fleet Zero grant that we were able to secure. This is to establish EV infrastructure at our service center, specifically with level 2s and level 3 fast chargers. So we're still working on that. We're hoping that we will have some construction this year. Some new information is we also applied for the Charge Ahead Colorado grant. This is primarily for public charging infrastructure. We did secure funding for that, specifically for the library, fire station number 1, and the golf clubhouse. So we're really excited about that. More information, I'm sure, will come back to council once we are able to create a contract with Colorado Energy Office, but some really great EV infrastructure projects coming our way. I also wanted to highlight community events. Last year, we engaged over 3,500 individuals. That consisted of 14 presentations and 10 community events. Some of the community events include like a compost giveaway event, as well as a hard to recycle event that we partner with our police department. At that hard to recycle event, over 25,000 pounds of hard to recycle material was diverted, which is really exciting. Last year, unfortunately, Earth Day Every Day had to be canceled due to inclement weather, so we didn't have as high of engagement numbers as we have in years past.
All right, so 2025 so far, we just had our biggest month of the year, which is our Earth Month. This is the month of April. Throughout the month alone, we engaged with over 3,000 residents through 3 different presentations and 5 community events. One of those presentations included a new partnership with Keep It Clean from Boulder County, and it was a rain barrel presentation at the library. And then for community events, we had our Hard to Recycle event, which we collected over 28,000 pounds of hard to recycle material, so a little bit of a bump from last year, which is super exciting to see. And we also had our biggest event, which is the Earth Day Every Day event. It was really successful, and we even had our own city-managed bike valet, which we did during the event, which was through staff and volunteers, and we had really awesome feedback from that, so we're hoping to do that again in the future. And we are also super grateful for our Sustainability and Resilience Advisory Board, who helps staff the educational booth at Earth Day Every Day while Lizzie and I run around coordinating the event. Another super exciting part about Earth Month was we launched our e-bike rebate program. There were over 91 applications, and you can see in the photo there's one of the e-bike rebate recipients who came to the most recent Bike to Work Day on June 25th. Speaking of e-bikes, we also have 4 new e-bikes within the police department. You'll see one outside of the glass over here. So we're super excited to have our PD have 4 new e-bikes that they're able to use to help with access and mobility. Another program that we launched in April was the brand new HEPA air purifier pilot program. This program was in partnership with the fire department to bring free air purifiers to protect indoor air quality for residents, especially during wildfire smoke and high ozone levels. And we were really surprised and excited about the turnout for applicants. We had over 240 applicants for this program, and we were able to give away only 50. So we're really hoping to continue the program into the future, but we were able to partner with the fire department and distribute the supplies during the wildfire awareness event to continue that education and outreach piece. Another exciting thing for 2025 is our new water efficiency messaging. We wanted to create consistent water efficiency messaging no matter what department or division was talking about water. So if the parks or our residential water conservation messaging or any of that could all be super consistent. And then we wanted to bring an element of fun to it with a new mascot. So you'll see Eddie, he's the new mascot for water efficiency messaging. We were able to launch him already with our Parks Department with our turf conversion project that was happening at Spruce Park. So he was already out there and engaging with the community to talk about water efficiency. And then we also refreshed our web pages for sustainability. These are aligned with our climate action plan. So we have new education and resources based on those 7 focus areas of our climate action plan. We wanted to help with the user experience and then resolve any accessibility challenges. So the picture on the screen is our new air quality page, which is aligned with one of our new goals of our climate action plan.
So looking ahead for the rest of the year, I'm not going to go through all of these, but it's really to showcase how busy we will be over the next 6 months. I will highlight a few. So the first is the bicycle infrastructure improvements. We're working with economic development to improve bicycle parking along public road, as well as looking at ways to improve wayfinding to those bicycle parking spots. We're also working on a greenhouse gas inventory, specifically for municipal buildings as well as community-wide using 2024 data. This will include some modeling as well as some projections. And then I did want to share the excitement from the Sustainability and Resilience Advisory Board to be able to provide and advise council in the next 6 months. One other item that I wanted to bring up will be our launch of our climate action and awareness campaign. So this will be a fun and engaging campaign with the community, really to inspire and empower residents to get involved with the climate action plan. And we are expecting this to launch late summer or early fall. We will open it up to any questions.
Thank you so much. Questions from council? Councilor Barnes?
Okay, I'm in. First of all, thanks for the wayfinding and bicycle infrastructure piece of. I know that's one of the frustrations for everyone who cycles, is not knowing where you're going really abundantly clear and obvious ways. So I really appreciate the fact that that's moving forward. I do have a question about the air quality alerts. Do you know where that is coming from? What's on our webpage?
It's EPA.
Okay. That's great. And the people who've asked for the HEPA filters for multiple things, including high ozone days, do you know anything about why they requested one? That's just right.
Yes, so in the application form, they did submit information such as are there smoking indoors, are there pre-existing conditions, are there kids in the home, are there older adults in the home? So they did provide some information, and again, we were really surprised at the amount of applicants that we received. So there's a lot of demand and just eagerness to be able to have good indoor air quality, especially during those high ozone days, which today definitely was one, and it's expected to be one tomorrow.
Did they connect ozone to their request? High ozone days to their request?
Yes, so that was part of the outreach and education that we did as part of the program.
Excellent. That's great to hear. Last one, if we were to try and explain the concept of resilience versus sustainability, what would you tell the members of the public if they're like, I don't get what resilience is. I know what resistance is. What's resilience? I mean, what would you tell people?
If I had that question from a resident, I would say resilience is a way for us to improve our adaptability and mitigation towards a changing climate, especially in times of natural disaster or even micro disasters, which includes like heat and cold events.
Okay, great. We didn't rehearse that. That was great.
I did not rehearse that.
No, I'll repeat that. Thank you. That was great. Awesome. That's all.
Councilor Freeland.
My questions are going to be all about waste. I'm curious in terms of extended producer responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you thinking about like messaging with that? Or I guess maybe it's not so much towards the public, but maybe internally. And then how do you anticipate it might impact probably our waste enterprise fund or budgeting? Like, how are you thinking that's going to impact us?
So that draft plan was just submitted to the CDPHE, but we have met with Circular Climate Association, who's leading that initiative and who's also leading California and Oregon's initiative. So it's still very preliminary information, but we are already starting to work with our hauler Republic Services on separating out the recycling costs. So we're really excited about some reimbursements for all of the waste education that we've done so far. But it's definitely, we're waiting for more information from the state.
Still
on
coming.
that. But we're expected January 1st for that to be live.
Awesome. Also, when and where is your waste characterization study, and how do I get an invite?
So the waste characterization study is being run by Boulder County, and we have an opportunity to contribute some funding to have more Lafayette-specific data. So that's what we're waiting on.
Cool.
But hopefully in the fall.
Awesome. Thank you.
Other questions?
Just a quick comment. I just want to comment on the Hard to Recycle event. It was very well organized, and it was very impressive. You had a great line, I think, continuously for most of the afternoon, but it was very well organized. I mean, I thought it was great how if you were just dropping certain things off, you can get in and get out, but if you had more items, it worked out really well. So well planned and really well executed, and great use of the former King Soopers parking lot. I thought it was so well planned out.
Thank you. I will have to commend the police department who really helped with the traffic flow as well for that event.
Great job. Thank you, Mayor.
When I was at CML last week, I was able to connect with representatives from Republic, and I'm going to probably reach out to you, but it sounds like they're interested in doing more frequent, larger pickups for residents for larger items and things like that. So we'll connect later. I forgot. I was like, now that you're here, might as well.
Great.
For free, right? For free?
For free. For free.
All right. Well, thank you all for that update. Looking forward to more along the way, but really appreciate your time today. Thank you. Okay. That brings us to our next and final presentation for tonight. This is item E for the capital bond project package discussion. I know that unfortunately I wasn't able to make the discussion on Tuesday night when you all had those initial discussions, but I'm glad we're able to continue that today. We have our Assistant to the City Manager, Alex Nelson, here to get us started.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council, and thank you for that introduction. As noted, this is really a follow-up from last week's discussion at the workshop. So it's a very brief agenda. I'm really looking at just jumping right into the project package discussion and then turning it over to Council for any discussion and direction. So as a reminder, there are 3 projects under consideration for this capital bond package. The first is a renovation and expansion to the Bob L. Berger Recreation Center. The second is the construction of a new civic center just a few blocks north of our current city hall. And then the third is a renovation and expansion of the Parks and Public Works Service Center. You'll recall that when we're discussing the ballot language and what we as staff need direction for to draft that language for your consideration, there's a number of variables. The first is the project package, those projects that would be advanced to the ballot in the ballot language. The second is the question structure, whether it's a single question or multiple. And the third is the type and length of the debt issuance, and that's all used to draft the language. We have received direction on a number of these items through previous discussions, and so we've heard from council support for a general obligation bond funded by property tax. We heard support for flexibility in the ballot language that would allow for the type and length of debt issuance that's best suited to the project package and the timing of that construction. And then we also heard support for a single ballot question. So tonight, as the agenda item implies, we're really here to just get final direction on the project package that would be advanced and used to draft the ballot language. So the 2 packages, as have been discussed at a number of previous meetings, are the first is package A, and it would be all 3 projects, so the BBRC, Civic Center, and Service Center, with a total debt issuance of $74 million. And then package B would be just the BBRC and Service Center, and that would be a total debt issuance of $40 million. And there's the summary table here to outline those 2 packages. And so before turning it over to council for further discussion and direction, I do just want to highlight a couple next steps. We'll take your direction this evening to finalize our education and outreach materials and conduct that through the months of July and through the middle of August until we bring forward language for your consideration through a resolution. And then from there, the election would be on November 4th. So with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor and council for a discussion about the project packages. And we pulled that summary table here as well for your discussion.
Of course, thank you so much. I guess we'll first start with questions from council for staff, if there are any. Councilor Freeman.
curious, in looking at the Civic Center, in the cost analysis, which I know is a rough estimate, do we have any consideration for this building, whether it be sale or lease and revenue, that's gone into that estimate for cost?
The estimate that you've seen did not include that because it would be a separate conversation to talk about the future
What
of
to
the
do with
site.
it.
So that wasn't factored into the cost that's been presented.
Understood, thank you.
Other questions? If there aren't any questions, we'll open it back up to council. Remember, as a reminder, we are not voting on anything tonight. We're simply looking for consensus to give staff direction to come back to us with more detailed language and information on this. As I mentioned, I did miss the workshop on Tuesday as I was attending the CML conference. And so, the hope for today is to really gain that consensus on which one of these packages we want to follow, and to see what's in the best interest of everyone when discussing these. So I'd love to hear the thoughts of each counselor. That way we can figure out where everyone's at and hopefully reach an agreement. So whoever feels comfortable going first, I'd love to hear from you and your thoughts, and of course staff's here for questions as well. Councilor Barnes.
Thank you, Mayor. I've talked to some of our residents, and I think it's abundantly clear that there's just a lot of concern about the economy right now. And Package B, I think, is less expensive, and I feel like that's important right now, just to minimize the burden on residents.
Thank you. Others? Councilor Gallegos.
So I think we've all been present at a meeting where we've exceeded capacity and we've needed a second officer present outside for the purpose of crowd control and making sure we weren't exceeding capacity. And anytime we have a hot topic on the agenda, I feel that the public wants to come and have their voices heard. And then there are some things we are not considering as well. For example, the accessibility of spaces outside of this room that I think we should consider advancing Package A.
Great. Thank you. Others? Councilor Tapia Vega.
I went back and forth on this a lot because I was trying to really understand, and I talked to a couple of our residents. Ultimately, I came to the same conclusion that I came to last week at the workshop. We're all kind of in consensus that Package B, at least, is what we understand, at least for now, we all want. But I think Package A is the way to go for me, simply because I think for the first time in a very long history, we have the ability to be proactive about one of our buildings, something that is very necessary to our city. And I think the last thing I want is a council 5-6 years from now to be in a situation like the rec center where they have to make emergency repairs to a potential civic center down the road. So I think it's important to be proactive for the first time in a very long time. So I'd go with Package A.
Thank you so much. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I think after thinking about it and consulting with some residents in the community, as well as I believe everybody did their homework and really thought hard about this, I am in support of Package A.
Thank you. And Councilor Fried.
I think I'm still where I was last week. Package B, I think we've got a good amount of uncertainty, and I would want to be, kind of fiscally a bit conservative on this and not go the full amount. Definitely share the challenges that we have with this building and the desire for a new civic center, and I think the vision is good and the idea is good. And I would encourage us, if we were to go Package B, to continue that conversation, continue that visioning, and keep thinking through it of what does this look like. Keep talking to the community, help them understand that vision, so that I think we can get increased buy-in on the civic center too. But I'm still at a Package B place at this day.
Thank you. I do want to make sure we acknowledge Councilor Sampson's thoughts. And she wasn't able to join us tonight, but she was able to reach out and just share some of her thoughts. She's open-minded, reasonable, but right now she's leaning towards, looks like package B, and pursuing the Civic Center at a later date. And so, for me, it's like, it's tough because I'm pretty open-minded as well. Like, I think that it's important to evaluate, all of the items that have been brought up already. I think that, obviously, when it comes to like cost savings or like, financial forecasting, it might be, the more safer approach to go forward with package B. However, at the same time, though, the costs of construction, the costs of everything, supply chain could increase next year as well. When we look at part of the reason why we're having these discussions now is because we should have been making these updates years ago. When you look at the rec center, that should have been updated a while back, and as well as the service center, and so they were put off. And so I do anticipate, similar issues occurring on other city facilities when you look at the size and the scope of the city hall, the importance of it, not just for city staff, but for everyone in the community that needs to come here for whatever reason. It's something that I don't want to necessarily put off and kick the can down the road on that item. I think that for me, it's a civic center, right? We are branding it as a civic center because that's what it will be. That's our hope, right? And that's all engaging from all members of the community. When you look at a lot of the youth that I've been working with my entire life in this city that continue to approach me and reach out to me asking for youth spaces, free, fun things to do in the community. I think the city civic center could be a place for that. When you look at older folks, members of our boards and commissions that are looking for places to meet and places to be productive and get work done, I think the Civic Center could be a place for that. When you look at the seniors and they're looking for places to spend their time, I think the Civic Center could be that. I think the Civic Center could be a place not just for city council meetings and for city staff to work in, which I think are equally as important, but a place for our members of all members of our community. And so, just consulting with everyone, I'm in a place right now where I'd like to move forward with package A, but I do understand where my colleagues that are supporting package B are coming from, because they bring up good points, and so I'm just it's hard. It's not easy. I spoke to all of the members of council one-on-one, and it seems like it's not a simple, easy, quick decision for anybody. But I think at this moment, I would be supporting package A, and so that makes it so that does make it close. It does. It looks like a majority of council members are interested in moving forward with package A. But I do, of course, want to make sure everyone understands that and why. So, I think that next steps would be for staff to come back, right, with language on what that would look like. And then it's the job of the city council, really, as we move down the road, as we get closer to the election season, to inform the public on these issues, inform them of the correct information, and make sure people are well informed and not misinformed or disinformed when making their vote in November. I think that's our job. Whether we support it or not support it, it's important that people have all the correct information they need to be educated to make the right decision. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, look forward to hearing that. We do have one item tonight under regular business. This is item H. This is the first reading of ordinance 13, series 2025, authorizing the lease of less than 1 acre of certain city-owned real property to Three Leaf Farm LLC. We have our new-ish Director of Community Services, New title, same person.
Yes.
Yeah, been here for years, holding it down, but the title has changed. So Melissa Eisel's here to get us started. Thank you.
Thank you. And Dennis Warrington, Parks and Open Space Manager, is also here to assist me in answering questions. I'll provide background, take your questions, and then we have some motion language for your consideration. So the City Council has the authority to lease open space and other city properties. And so this evening, we're asking you to consider a lease of some open space property that is part of the Coal Creek open space. This parcel was originally leased in 2018, and that lease was renewed in 2021 to the Three Leaf Farm for horse pasturing. The property, as you can see on the image on the right side of the screen, is east of Highway 287, just slightly south of Coal Creek. And as I said, it's been utilized as dry pasture. There is no water rights associated with this lease. The tenant, Three Leaf Farm, has utilized the space for rotational grazing, which does support weed control on open space. The tenant's other operations support restoration of native plant communities and support wetlands that are in the area. And they partner with the Open Space Division and other community partners on community education around sustainable agriculture programming. And staff believe they have been a very good partner over the years of this lease. Are there any questions that we can answer?
Good. Thank you. Questions? Councilor Barnes.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any questions. I would just like to point out that I think the Three Leaf Farm practice is something we should recognize as symbolic of what we can do to approach a better design for the city. And I know that open space, we spend a lot of time trying to understand how to maintain our open space. And I look at all the invasive species that are on our property, and it's like, this is one of the ways to address that in a sustainable way. There's a preserve next to that, one of the 3 preserves, that is supported through the activity of Three Leaf Farms. They make some incredible peach habanero salsa for Lafayette Farmers Market. And it's a family business. It's a local business. They are doing what we talk about. And if you consider that fractal, imagine that the entire city, is enlarged on that scale. And we're doing these rotations, to preserve the native species, looking at our waterways. So I really would like to hold that up as a representation of what sustainability looks like, and on that scale. And of course, it would be different on a larger scale, but I really appreciate what Three Leaf Farms is doing.
Great, thank you. Anything else? Okay. So if someone feels ready, we have a motion.
I move to approve on first reading ordinance number 13, series 2025, authorizing a lease of less than 1 acre of certain city-owned real property to Three Leaf Farms LLC.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? None opposed. That passes unanimously. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, that wraps up regular business for this evening, which brings us to staff reports. City Attorney's report.
No report tonight, thank you.
Thank you. City Manager's report.
Good evening, Council, and welcome to July. Appreciate it. So first, I want to give huge kudos to the Chamber of Commerce for a very successful Independence Day this past weekend. Also to city staff, this is really a large collaboration between Public Works, Parks, PD, Fire, and so just really appreciate everyone's efforts to make this safe and fun and just a great community event. So more fireworks to come at other communities, so go check those out this weekend as well. Also, we began this week work at the Coal Creek Bridge replacement on 120th, and so you will see some contractors beginning work underneath the bridge. That's that photo down off to the right. So they'll be working through this week, and then we anticipate a full closure of 120th Street starting July 7th for 5 weeks. We recognize this impacts traffic significantly, so please, for the residents, look at the maps for detours to get around to that area up in our industrial park. Next, we are hosting kind of internally, but a really fun day, our second annual Take Your Kid to Work Day. So if you see copycats of our employees, they have not gotten younger. It is just their children, and hopefully engaging them in some interest in local government as well. So we take them on tours to open space. We go to the fire and police stations. They get to go touch a truck over at the service center. So it's just been a really fun event, and I would be remiss to say that I recognize a lot of Take Your Work to events are in April, but my mother was a school teacher and principal and would not be happy if I had kids get out of school to come do our event. So that is why we do a summer event next week. And then our next art night out is July 11th. And then finally, just wanted to note that we will be having facility closures on the 4th of July this Friday. So the ones that are open are the Great Outdoors Water Park from 11 to 6, Indian Peaks Golf Course from dusk to dawn, and Wanaka Lake Boathouse from 10 to 4. All other city municipal facilities will be closed. So I hope you guys enjoy your long weekend. And then looking forward to July 15th, we're going to have a few of the ordinances that were on tonight on second reading. Also consideration for adoption of the Vision Zero Safety Action Plan, as well as consideration for an amendment to the Willoughby subdivision agreement. And then at your July 22nd workshop, we'll be doing a large kind of land use code update. I know we've been doing them briefly at regular council meetings, so this will be a more holistic update, as well as a discussion around our airport noise and consultant options that came up during one of the new ideas several months ago. So thank you, Mayor, again.
Thank you. Okay, we'll wrap up tonight with, before our exec session, we will wrap up with council reports. We'll start down at Councilor Tapia Vega.
Thank you. No reports.
Thank you, Councilor Freeland.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Councilor Gallegos.
Nothing from me tonight.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Wong.
Yes, just a couple of items. I did want to point out to council that there's a great article in the Colorado Sun regarding affordable housing and regarding that nearly 70% of Colorado land zoned for housing prohibits the most affordable types of homes. There's a study that found that. Really interesting read. I'll send it out to members of council. I would like to address a couple things from the public as well. I think the idea of the flags going up from May or middle of May through July would be a great idea. So I'm just kind of putting that out there. I also want to just make a comment in regards to potential moratorium for housing in Colorado. I think with so much going on within the state and the growth and affordability, while I think it would be easy to take a pause on housing, I think it's important for us from an affordability standpoint to really look at what potentially could be done. And specifically, I want to state that while zoning and projects may move forward, the piece that's really important, and I think that it's important for members of the public to keep this in mind, is that the city does require people to bring water to our projects. And so that's a really important checks and balance, I think, when we talk about infrastructure, when we talk about the ability for a city to serve its residents, that's really the key piece. And I think since the city has moved away from cash in lieu and really requiring developers to bring that water into the city portfolio, that I looked at that as that's kind of the if you will, the fire break, if you will, to prevent overgrowth quickly that can consume city services. Because I think when it comes to affordability, it really is important to me that my child and families within this community, kids that grow up in this community, have the ability to live in this community and afford it. And so as we look towards affordability, that's kind of an important factor. But I understand underneath that, the underlying piece that's really important is water and the ability for city services. So understand that, but I think there is a check out there. So I just wanted to make that comment. Also wanted to acknowledge 4th of July and this week's birth date. And since it is my final 4th of July on council, I was kind of just thinking about things and just wanted to thank members of council for having robust debates when we have robust debates and having the ability to do that, because this country is very unique in that we can have those kind of conversations, and I do appreciate that. And so at this 4th of July, I did just want to call it a couple things. I think this weekend I saw a news show in which a candidate for the mayor of New York stated that he didn't think it was his role as mayor to police speech. And I think that's wrong. I disagree. As a member of city council here in Lafayette, not some big glitzy city like New York, but it is our responsibility to stand up when injustices are said and when speech hurts and impacts, because words matter. And so I do want to just point out in that same spirit that there was a comment made by a Douglas County commissioner regarding the election that they held in their county regarding self-rule, in which he blamed the Chinese Communist Party for the loss of their badly defeated measure, and which point he pointed to a group that was formed by a Japanese American. And when that fact was brought forward, he ignored it. That is ignorance at its most highly offensive level, and that commissioner should have taken that back. And I encourage Commissioner Teal to retract that statement, because I think it's highly inappropriate. And as a member of the AANHPI community and as elected, it is offensive. And I said, Mr. Mayor, that I would call it out when I saw it. I called out Minnesota, and I will continue to call it out in my final time here on council, because we need to change the political environment in this country. It is too visceral and toxic, and it needs to change. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
No, thank you for sharing that. Councilor Barnes.
Thank you, Mayor. I was able to attend the Commuting Solutions members meeting, and I don't know how many of you know former counselor Stephanie Walton. She's the chair of the Senior Advisory Board, and she's also on the board of Commuting Solutions. So I was able to get even more understanding of what was happening in the meeting. And I would like to say that we did have Senator Judy Amabile, Senate District 18, and Representative Shannon Byrd, House District 29, Jefferson and Adams counties, and the Vice Chair of the Joint Budget Committee, that's Representative Byrd, and the Vice Chair of the Appropriations Committee. And they had a sobering batch of information for us about the state budget and next year, and made it perfectly clear that the money that's being withheld is not gifts. It's our federal funds that are being withheld, and that's what's making it so difficult. And we had, I think it was, hold on one second. Senator Faith Winter as well, who literally paused and froze everyone and pointed out, like, the cuts that are being made in transportation are to support Medicare and Medicaid. And it was transportation or not supporting the lives of residents in the state of Colorado. So it was incredibly difficult, the changes that they've made. With that said, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Cog just announced, looking at the Mayor Pro Tem at the Dr. Cog meeting, did we get an announcement of light rail? Western rail?
Yes, there is an IGA that was signed by all relative parties to negotiate with Burlington Northern regarding Front Range Rail.
Front Range Rail. So in light of all these, the challenges that we're facing, this is what resilience looks like to me, is that even by having to shift and make changes, we're still moving forward, even though we're stepping back briefly. And there is also a change due to Senate Bill 25-261 that makes changes to EcoPass requirements or minimums for different residences. So if developers are putting up 50 units or more, they are required now by state law to ask the residents if they would like an EcoPass and then provide it. So this is, again, one of those things that I see as one of the ways that we continue to support the entire community in these times of shifting and moving around. Of course, the regional bike share between Boulder, Broomfield, Longmont, Westminster, Lafayette was also mentioned. And there is going to be a diagonal flyer coming in along the Diagonal Highway 119. So there's progress being made around transportation solutions, even though there's been a lot of cuts in what is provided from the federal government. So there's a lot of changes happening, but it's still fruitful. And I don't know if I mentioned this, shifting gears, as I was able to attend the Longmont Juneteenth. I'm wearing the official 2025 Longmont Juneteenth t-shirt. Anyone like to see that? It was a real community event, and I appreciated the fact that Councilor Shakiti Yarborough was able to bring in many members of the Longmont community, and I was able to share some of what we did in the Arts and Cultural Resources Department in Lafayette, and helped people understand where Lafayette and what we do here. So it was a nice way to connect with other members of our community, and got a great t-shirt. And I think that's all I had, so thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Just quickly for me, last week I had the opportunity to attend the CML conference, Colorado Municipal League, where over 160 other cities participated in or invited to. So we're ballroom with like 2,000 people is wild. We had a lot of folks turn out. Quick shout out to Mayor Pro Tem Wong for hosting a great discussion on how we are encouraging more people of color to run for office and to win office as well. And we had a lot of great conversations there. Met a lot of great folks from the city and county of Denver, surrounding Broomfield, Westminster. Everyone was there to participate. The reason why I bring that up is because I'm hoping these apparently former mayors have educated me and taught me that in the past CML used to be a thing here in the city of Lafayette where everyone would attend. The entire city council would go, city manager, city attorney, city staff. It was a big event, and so I'm hoping to bring some of that culture back. Hopefully next year we can have a lot more folks. I know obviously travel stuff like that happens. I personally have missed a few CMLs myself, and so just want to create encourage everyone to participate that in future years because you do learn a lot and you get connected with so many folks that are dealing with the exact same issues that we are here in Lafayette. So hoping for that. Yeah, had dinner with the almost the entire town of Frederick. So their city staff and folks. So that was great to see. All right, so we do have an executive session that we have to get to tonight. So I do move to adjourn to executive session pursuant to subsections 4B and 4E1 of section 24-6-402 Colorado Revised Statutes for the purpose of 1, conferring with the city special counsel, legal counsel to receive legal advice regarding specific legal questions regarding collective bargaining agreements with the city's fire and police department employees, and 2, determining positions on matters subject to negotiations and instructing negotiators with respect to such agreements. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. The city council will adjourn to executive session and will not return to an open meeting. The time is now 7:19 p.m. Thank you.